I cannot believe that it is mid-March and I am already seeing mosquitoes in my garden. This year we had unseasonable amount of rain, and it seems to have really spurred a lot of the pests in the garden to get started a little bit early. Last year we had quite a bit of rain, and that's when I have seen the most mosquitoes in my neighborhood that I have ever seen. So much to the point where we couldn't even go outside on certain evenings because we were just getting eaten up by mosquitoes. So that frustration caused me to start looking around and find some things to fix this. And I did find one application that really seemed to work. And I'm going to start doing it a couple of months early this year. I'm going to start right now in March, and I think that it's going to make a much bigger impact this year. Before we get started, I just wanted to say one thing. If you guys know of any organic ways to eliminate or keep down the mosquitoes in our gardens, I hope that you'll take a minute and put it in the comments below. I think if we all work together as a community and we share the ideas that really have been working, that we'll be able to sort of get down this mosquito community. It's just terrible to see the little kids getting eaten up by mosquitoes, and we all know that mosquitoes carry diseases that we do not want anybody to have. So I'm Sonia with Suburban Gardening, and I'm going to show you what I did last year and what I'm going to do early this year to help keep these mosquitoes down. So you only need a couple of things, and most of it you already have at home. The only thing you might need to get are some of these mosquito dunks. Now I ordered them on Amazon, and I'll put the link below for you guys. But I think you can pick them up at the home improvement store as well. So we're going to use those. Some black containers actually seem to work the best, but if you don't have a black container, I'll go ahead and show you how I figured out just to use any old container that you have around the house. And we're also going to need some dirt, and we're going to need some leaves to put down in there. Mosquitoes like stagnant water, so we want to make this water not real crystal clear. We want to make it kind of muddy. So all that you would need to do is take your container, put some dirt down in there, some leaves, maybe a stick or two, and then fill it with water. Now I go to about 2/3 full because I know that the water is also going to evaporate. Now I've got my gloves on because I'm going to be breaking these little mosquito dunks into quarters. Now you could use a half or a whole, whichever you think is necessary. And then I'm just going to drop it right down into this container. Each one of these I've done the same thing, and I'll show you where I put them in the garden because I think that's important as well. What I did last year was I noticed when I walked around my garden, there were certain areas that seemed to be a little more infested with mosquitoes than others. For instance, I have beautiful azalea plants right outside my front door, and every time I walked over there, mosquitoes would just come flying out. So there are different places in the garden where the mosquitoes like to be particularly, and that's where I recommend hiding one of these. The other thing that we want to be careful of is that we don't leave any standing water around. Now, I know you guys have heard this before, but I think it's amazing that even soggy grass is a place where mosquitoes can just lay their eggs and they'll just grow to adulthood and come out looking for us. Also, in the bottom of a plant saucer, that's just enough water. So we want to be careful. We go through the yard and we get rid of anything that has to do with water like that. Keep everything nice and dry. Now let's walk around the garden and let me show you where I tuck these away, where I think that a lot of mosquitoes hang out, and I'm really hoping they're going to love this little brew that I made, and we can really cut the mosquitoes down this year. Here are those beautiful azaleas that I was mentioning to you that the mosquitoes just love to hang out inside of there. I think it's because this ground stays pretty damp. This is a bit of a shaded area, and they just love to congregate. And on a side note, these two pots that I have up there have the cocoa liner in them. I did a video on those and how to plant them in there so that cocoa liner doesn't dry out your soil and your plants stay beautiful. So you might want to check that out. I'm going to take this black pot that I filled with all kinds of delicious yummies, and I'm going to put it right down here underneath the azalea. I really know that this is where they hang out, And I hope that they find that to be the perfect little place to lay their eggs. This area is right outside of my slider, and we come out this way a lot. I noticed that there were mosquitoes out here quite a bit last year, so I'm going to take my container and I'm going to put it right down in here. Can you see it down in there? Oh. And I'm just going to leave it there. I'll come back and I'll check to see if there's any water needed to be put in there. But I think this is a good place. This is my beautiful raised bed that I love so much. You can see all the garlic is doing great in there. But I noticed a lot of mosquitoes in here last year, and it's probably because I keep it damp, because I keep a lot of things growing. Well, I'm going to take my light colored container and I'm going to put it down in a hole. I dug this hole and then I'm going to put the dirt around it to make it nice and dark down in there. And this wonderful little parsley bush is going to cover it up. As a matter of fact, I see a mosquito right here. Hopefully that'll be exactly what they're looking for. I'm not sure if this application is going to eliminate all of the mosquitoes, but I do think that it will eliminate many of them. And I'd like to encourage you guys to leave a comment below if you know of any way to eliminate mosquitoes in our gardens, because we love being outside in the spring, the summer, and even the fall. And in my neck of the woods, mosquitoes live that entire time. One other thing that I do when I'm out in the garden is if I notice there's a lot of mosquitoes, that I'll put on a long sleeve shirt that has a collar, of course long pants, and socks. But what a bummer that is to have to wear all those clothes in spring and summer when it's so beautiful outside. There's always so much to talk about in the garden, but that's all I have for today. So thanks you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.